Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 1. This is going to be a best of two series between Euphoria and Team Cyclones. I'm going to be one of your casters today here on HeflaTV 1. I'll be Grandis V, and for Game 1 at the very least, we are going to be joined by Banshee. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great we've got two, I've actually heard of Euphoria before, but Team Cyclones are actually rather a little bit new to me personally, as I think they've just managed to make themselves into Division 2, and, hopefully they could do well against a team who's been doing pretty well in the Division 2 right now, as in they've got a good standing and they're well known in the, in that amateur semi-pro kind of situation in the Division 2 scene.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, I'm curious to see how they're going to approach the draft especially, and then how they're going to execute that in game, but I definitely don't think this is going to be a one-sided stomp. We should be in for some good games.
Yep, hopefully. I'm going to right now predict Meepo, 51 minutes in, he gets a Radiant, and then it's a tower, it's a base racer.
Definitely. Sounds like an exciting game we've thought up here. The first couple bans are not so exciting. We have Lycanthrope Doom banned out by Euphoria, and Team Cyclones take out the Scarlet Mage and the Brewmaster, so no big surprises there. Death Prophet and Shadow Shaman are both available in the pool, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Euphoria pick those up as their first two. But still, Team Cyclones go for the raids. They're a solid first pick, nonetheless.
Reserved.
Yeah, but it's going to be the first pick for Euphoria, and right now there's a lot of heroes they can pick from. As you've got the Shadow Shaman, who's been a stable pick of the Join Dota League over the past 3 weeks. You can even just go for the Void, which is still up. A lot of teams like him. Get the Void plus Witch Doctor or Void plus anything else. Have that ultimate. Play him as carrier off lane. Doesn't really matter. And they're actually taking their time. A little bit interesting right there, as it is the first pick. Generally, you see teams zoom through the first pick, or at the very least only use their bonus time to, discuss maybe about picks 2 and 3. Just because of it's, most teams are going to have a rough idea of what they want to go for right at the beginning of the game.
Well, to start us off, they're going to pick up the Shadow Shaman. I think the second pick's either going to be a Death Prophet or a Faceless Void. But yeah, it's unclear which one it's going to be as of now, but it will be the Void picked up by Euphoria.
Radiant's pick.
Yeah, because I've actually had a quick look, and it does look like the Cyclones is going to be their first game of the season, going up against Euphoria. Probably one of the harder ones in the tournament, next to KPG and Cleve. Although Cleve are currently 1 and 3 in this tournament. Very interesting stuff right there. But either way, we are going to be seeing the Tidehunter in response. And Tidehunter's very good as long as he doesn't get caught in the Void Chronosphere. If he doesn't get caught up, then he can just pop his Ravage and effectively restart the fight.
To go.
Yeah, definitely also offers them a solid mechanism carrier for the Razor doesn't build that, and if he doesn't have to go for the mechanism for his team, also a good Blink initiator that can get that Blink up fairly early on, especially if they do stack up the Ancients for him. At about level 5, Tidehunter can clear those Ancients very efficiently, and get a little bit of boost of farm in that sense.
Yeah, because we are going to be seeing the bans now coming out. And the Invoker gets banned out. A little bit interesting there from Team Cyclones. As I think I have seen Euphoria at least pick up the Invoker once or twice. And he does work very well with the Faceless Void. But on the other hand, he is a hero we haven't seen banned out that often. Just due to the fact there's just so many other heroes you have to worry about.
Yeah, the Death Prophet taken out by Euphoria. No big surprises there. Although, I think if they left it in the pool, they could have first picked that one outside of the banning stage, but they're not going to be going for that Death Prophet for themselves. Yeah, I think when you have first pick, banning out the Death Prophet's a little bit peculiar, but maybe they have something else in mind that they want to first pick right out of the bat, and hopefully it's not banned out.
Yeah, as in the Death Prophet would be a pretty nice pickup for them, but at the same time, like what you said, there's lots of other things you can pick up, and if you're not going to pick it up, a Death Prophet does actually do very well against a Void, because as long as she gets her ultimate off first, then her ultimate's still doing damage against Void, and it hurts a lot.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the time, the Faceless Void can't really sit inside the Chronosphere with those ghosts attacking him, and yeah, it can make it very difficult to focus down the Death Prophet, especially if you don't have a lot of damage to pump into the Chronosphere alongside. If you have like a Scarlet Mage to combo with that Faceless Void, Death Prophet's very easily manageable. Just drop the Mystic Flare on top of her and she's pretty much dead. Unless she has a BKB, but that's another story. Let's see what Euphoria are gonna ban out. It will be the Viper and instant pick Tinker from Euphoria, so they definitely did have something in mind. And it will be the Tinker pick for them. Combos well with the Faceless Void, although on the dire side won't have the easiest time getting the boots to travel up at the fast as possible, since he won't have the Ancient stack available to him, and his jungle's a little bit less forgiving towards the mid laner, won't be able to stack as easily, but still, I think it's a solid pick for Euphoria, and very annoying for Team Cyclones to play up against.
Yeah, but if we have actually, I'm having a quick look at see this Cyclones team, and it does look like they originally came down from Division 4 in the last season from Germany Division 2, which they won 17-1. As in, they had a few good teams in their Division 4 as well, and making it all the way throughout shows that, you know, it's going to be their first real challenger in the JDL League.
Yeah, Team Cyclones go ahead and pick up the Nyx Assassin. I'm presuming this is going to be a support Nyx Assassin to go towards the safe lane with that Razor. Yeah, because if they did send him towards the off lane, that would bump the Tidehunter either towards the safe lane or the mid, which is something you usually don't see. 1v1 against the Faceless Void, if that is an offlane Void for Euphoria, that could be an option to leave the Tidehunter 1v1 and go aggressive. But still, something that you usually don't see. Nyx Assassin here is an interesting pick. It works well against the Tinker. Mana burn useful against him in the team fights, as well as being able to spike Carapace and the March Machines to be able to catch him out inside the trees is also a great thing for Team Cyclones to utilize. However, I'm not really feeling that this Nyx Assassin fits perfectly inside the Team Cyclones lineup as of now.
Yeah, as in Nyx Assassin, generally, if you're going to pick him as a support, I only really like him as an aggressive support. As in, he doesn't really do very much in defensive tri lane, but he can be aggressive with his, you know, his very nice stun from Impale, as well as his defensive ability of Spike Carapace, just in case he needs to get out of there. Of course, you could also see Tidehunter to go do something crazy like mid, but at this point, I'm guessing the Tidehunter is going to be forced into off lane.
Yeah, I think so as well. Nyx Assassin as a support really falls fairly short if he's not able to get that level 6 up in a timely manner. Kind of just defeats the purpose of the heroes. In Nyx Assassin, you want to get your level 6 ASAP, and then starting this, hunting this Shadow Shaman, Earthshaker, and Tinker around the map. We'll just have to see. Earthshaker is going to be the pickup by Euphoria. Doesn't combo the best with the Faceless Void, but a decent defensive pickup from them, as well as giving them another way to initiate the team fights outside of the time walk into Chronosphere.
And so we pick up the Vengeful Spirit in return, and that's a very nice counter Faceless Void pickup. You can swap someone out of that Void, stun up the Void while it's in the Chronosphere. And he also works kind of well in an aggressive tri-lane. They could pick up another carry that's early game, because we are going to have to see an early game matchup coming out from Team Cyclones, just because of Euphoria's picks are effectively putting a timer on how long the game can go. If Euphoria, if they wait until, if they manage to drag this on till 30, 35 minutes, then the Tinker and the Faceless Void is just going to come online, and, you know, bad things happen when that happens.
Definitely, and then you're also going to have a Shadow Shaman Earthshaker, excuse me, which are great supports when it comes to initiating, as well as the pushing power coming out from the Shadow Shaman, not a thing you want to be doing. This supporting duo that Team Cyclones have made for themselves so far with this Nyx Assassin and Vengeful Spirit is very snowball-oriented. If they're able to get a good early start, get some kills with the magic missile into the Impale stun, they should be doing just fine, but neither of them are particularly fast at farming. You can't send them into the jungle very easily, and they're not going to be able to really function from behind. Vengeful Spirit's more or less going to have to sacrifice herself if she wants to defensively swap in that situation, and Nyx Assassin, as previously stated, isn't going to be able to get those solo kills that he really wants to be getting.
Yeah, but the real worrying thing for Team Cyclones would be see the Pugna picked up, which I'm guessing is going to be a Faceless Void off lane. You've got a Shadow Shaman, Earthshaker, Pugna tri-lane, and that is very difficult to go up against, and Euphoria might be the ones who are going aggressive tri-lane themselves to give that Faceless Void and Earthshaker the space to get the farm they need.
Personally, I'd rather see that as a defensive tri-lane coming out from Euphoria, and then start out the Pugna with the supporting duo, and then eventually rotate the supporting duo off of the lane and try to help out the Tinker in mid, depending on what the mid matchup is. Maybe kill the Razor a couple of times with just Fisher into Shackles coming out from the Shadow Shaman. But still a viable option for Euphoria, depending on what this last pickup for Team Cyclones is going to be.
Yeah, this is going to it's going to shut off a lot of possible picks for them. As in right now, they could have, in theory, taken the Razor off mid and picked up something maybe even a little bit more aggressive, like a Storm. But with that Pugna getting picked up and that Ward just doing so much damage to anyone who needs spells, it does stop your chances of picking up a nice hero.
I don't know, this Pugna kind of feels a little bit out of place in the Euphoria lineup. Especially when you're picking him up against the Nyx Assassin. If Team Cyclones are able to get off to a good start, this Pugna could end up just feeding a lot of kills. They have the Blink Initiation coming out from the Tidehunter. If Vengeful Spirit gets up a decently timed level 11, they'll have the level 2 swap, as well as just the Vendetta Initiation coming out from the Nyx Assassin. And yeah, with Pugna's intelligence gain, that mana burn is going to hurt very hard on the Pugna. I don't think this Pugna is going to be able to make enough space for the Faceless Void and the Tinker to get online. I don't know, maybe something that's a little bit more traditional in Initiator. I don't know, he combos decently well with the Faceless Void, being able to drop a Pugna Blast inside the Chronosphere, as well as being able to get a pretty much full channeled off Life Drain. But we're going to have a last pick of Lifestealer coming out from Team Cyclones.
And that's... I'm not quite sure how I feel about that Lifestealer pick. They do have the theoretical possibility of those Infest Bombs coming out from... In fact, they've got 3 heroes that can theoretically go for those Infest Bombs. But on the other side, Lifestealer doesn't really do that much early game. He does require that farm to be able to go man-on-man, and there's a lot of lockdown, a lot of a counter-initiation coming out from Euphoria.
I think I'm okay with this Lifestealer pick. Honestly, it's going to be nice to give them an aggressive carry that can make something happen towards the mid-game. But as you said early on, he's going to be more focused on farming up. But still, with the open wound slow, they will be able to get kills, especially on the Pugna if they're able to catch him out of position. And if they do get that tri-lane versus tri-lane matchup, I think they'll be favored just a little bit, depending on how the first couple of skirmishes goes. That said, we're going to start us off with a pause, which will give us time to introduce the teams. We're going to have Team Cyclones playing on the Radiant side, with Acid playing on the Tidehunter, Coco on the Vengeful Spirit, Yuna on the Nyx Assassin, Hiva on the Lifestealer, and stand-in TJ playing on the Razor.
On the other side, we do have here on the Dire, we've got Euphoria. We've got Stella on Tinker with a little dash over the C right there. Not quite sure how you pronounce that. Lilin Licious. Bit of a mouthful right there. Playing on the Shadow Shaman as a stand-in for the team. Misko on Pugna. Kot on Faceless Void. And Villock on the Earthshaker.
Fair enough, and as soon as we finish introducing teams, we have the unpause, so not a lot of awkward downtime on the stream, so we'll see how these lanes are going to pan out for both of the teams. Tidehunter started out with boots first, as well as a little bit of regen in the form of those tangos, and for now he's going towards the bottom lane with this rest of his team. It looks like they want to secure control over their own jungle.
I guess that does make a little bit of sense, as the jungle is going to be what they're going to need to be able to get the additional farm in this early game, with the Lifestealer being able to pick up a little bit there, along with the Tide if things go terribly wrong on his off lane.
Yeah, but on the side of Euphoria, they don't seem very interested in really getting a lot done inside the enemy jungle. Faceless Void's probably just going to drop a ward to give himself some vision in the off lane. They will ping it out. I'm not sure if they'll know exactly where he placed it. But I'd assume that's going to be dewarded, but at the very least, Faceless Void will be safe as well. He leveled up Time Lock level 1. I don't think they'd be able to get a kill unless they chain stun him perfectly.
Yeah, they do need a perfect chain stun with a lot of damage to take him out, and that's one of the advantages of a Faceless Void. It's just so difficult to kill at practically any point of the game until you start getting that huge nuke damage.
Yeah, the mid matchup is going to be Sella on that Tinker versus the Razor. Played by TJ. Razor started out with 2 tangos, a salve, as well as a branch, rushing towards that bottle. Actually, where'd all his gold go? Does he have stuff on the courier? That's very interesting. He only has 10 gold left, according to my screen. Is that a bug?
It's not a mine, as in he's got an healing salve iron branch.
Oh, he has boots dropped by the tower. He dropped those so that he could block the creep wave a little bit more. That makes a lot of sense, so he can have the static link early on. Boots first Razor, definitely a legitimate thing. Just curious where that extra gold was coming up from TJ.
Yep, he needs to start doing weird things and scaring us. As he's just getting that static link, being annoying. Just look how much damage he's draining off a Tinker. All the way down to only 30 points of damage. It makes it so hard to last it when you've got no damage.
Tidehunter up in top. He gets blocked off by a nice Fissure. They have the Shackles to follow up, but I don't think they have enough damage to this Tidehunter. They might prove me wrong as the right clicks are coming out. One more Pugna Blast will be enough. No, Tidehunter escapes within inches of his life, but I think this will force him back to base.
Yeah, that boots first on the Tidehunter, actually saving his life right there. As he will actually, no, he's not going to go back to base. He's just going to sit there with that Tango and just try and heal up and get whatever experience he can.
I don't know, with the Fissure coming out from the Earthshaker, decently risky move, but possibly just knowing that these two supports are rotating, they picked up the smoke and are making a move towards the Razor in mid, and Razor's playing incredibly aggressively up against Sella on this Tinker, and I think if they get a decent Fissure block, he should be in a lot of trouble. We'll start out with the Fissure to start things off. Shackles not going to be in range. No, they will! Over that Fissure, and they'll have the right-click damage, as well as the rockets to come out from Sella. Actually, the Creeps got the last hit, unfortunately. That is a lot of gold split between all of the assists, however. Yeah, you definitely would have liked Sella to pick up the last hit there, but I didn't think that Shadowshun would be able to get the Shackles. One of those animation being a little bit long, able to get the range there.
Yeah, but I'm sure everyone's seen the infinite range Shackles, whether you're playing as the Shadow Shaman or against him. In the meantime, in this bottom lane, not very much happening. They know they can't really go in this Faceless Void, so they've basically let Lifestealer here. He's got a level and feast, and he's just being annoying against this Void. Whenever he turns up, just hitting him in the face and trying to force him back.
Honestly, they might be able to kill the Faceless Void if they had the Vengeful Spirit and Nyx Assassin both there, as long as Lifestealer was able to harass him down enough with that Orb of Venom that he's picked up. But still, as of now, he's going to be decently safe. I don't know, I say that. They're going to get the Impale with the follow-up Magic Missile. There's not a great place for him to time walk. He will possibly go to the low ground. He has it available, and there you go. I think he'll be just fine. He's going to be walking fairly slowly, but will be able to back off and use his salve to get back up to decent health. Excuse me.
Yeah, sadly, only the first blood going to Euphoria right there. As this Razor is actually going to have a pretty difficult time now against his level 4 Tinker. Especially he's just going to have to be sat there in the corner. He hasn't quite got his bottle yet.
Yeah, that actually wasn't counted as a first blood, I believe, since the Creeps got the last hit on it. I'm not sure how that interaction actually plays out. We'll have to see if first blood comes out later. But yeah. For now, Tidehunter takes a lot of harass from the Pugna, but he'll be able to walk it off and has just been tangoing up in the backlines. I'm not sure if he sent himself some more regen, but that is a possibility.
Surprisingly, both these two off lanes are doing pretty well, considering they both up against very aggressive possible kill combos. Both the Tidehunter and the Void level 3, and roughly got the same number of last hits. The Tide being one last hit higher. But we do see a gank attempt coming here on middle from the smoked up Vengeful Spirit and Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, for now, it is daytime, so a little bit harder to pick off the Tinker, and Sella's playing decently defensively on his side of the hill. I'm not sure they'll be able to get in range for the Vengeful Spirit stun, but if they do, Tinker should be dead. I don't know, Sella, yeah, I think he smells that something's up. He's going to need a Plasma Field, but yeah. They might have to wait for nighttime before they're actually able to wrap around. I say that, Coco, he's looking for the sun, he finds the range on it. Follow-up Impale from long range on Sella, and now with the Static Link, they might be able to get this kill. I don't know, Sella, just going to be able to walk that one off with the boots. And in the end, Marching Machines does a lot of damage to TJ.
Yeah, but a little bit of a shame right there, as we do see that TJ is going to be able to salve himself back up. Tinker is going for the rune here on bottom. It is going to be double damage, but the supports are also coming in to help. He's got an Impale and a Monoburn. He's going to be able to pick that up and bottle it, but can they do anything else? Void is coming in though as well. He's only level 3, can't do very much. But this Tinker's going to be in huge amounts of trouble. 1 or 2 more right clicks. And he is only slightly faster than his opponent.
Yeah, they start linking up the Faceless Void. He's going to stun by the Impale. Tinker's inbound as well, drops a March, and TJ really can't dive for that kill, so in the end, I don't think we're going to have any blood spilt over by the Dire Ancients.
Nope, again, like a lot of initiations, but no kills coming out as Lifestealer is going to keep farming up. In fact, being the second highest last hitter in the game, next to this Pugna, who they are truly farming up nice and quickly.
Yeah, Pugna, Basilius, as well as Arcane Boots online. He's going to just start spamming out that Nether Blast towards the Tidehunter's lane. Tidehunter can push it out a little bit with his Anchor Smash, but still not the best pushing hero, and eventually that tower is going to fall.
Yep, and Tide generally is in a good situation. It has been trapped off, but it's not a full trap. He's just going to walk right out of there. The Fish are so close to getting that kill, but no cigar.
Yeah, pretty much. Shadow Shaman has made his way towards mid a little bit. He's picked up a smoke, but still no boots. On to Lil Malicious. I'd like to see him pick up the boots pretty much as his top priority next. Oh, there you go. Never mind. They were on the courier. That makes sense. So, getting in range for those Shackles will be a little bit easier now that he has those available. He's not grouped up with the Earthshakers, so getting a kill on mid will be fairly unlikely. He'll just drop a ward and possibly back up towards top. As they attempt to push down up top, they get a Fissure onto the Tidehunter with the Pugna Blast landing as well. Not going to be enough damage, not sure if they did have the Decrepify to do the extra damage. I think if Misko cast his Life Drain, that might have been a kill. Not sure how many ticks he could have been able to get.
Yeah, but it would have been close either way, but at the same time, we're just seeing this Pugna damage coming out in this Tier 1 tower, and this Tier 1 tower is going to go down right now.
Yeah, I don't know, Pugna, with the start that he's had, he's pretty much open to start 5-manning down those towers, and as tentative I was of having the Pugna pick inside this draft, it's working out very well for Euphoria as it stands. They just haven't been able to punish it very well.
No, but that's the issue you have with kind of having this Nyx Assassin offlane, Nyx Assassin support, that he's not the greatest early game until he hits his level 6.
Yeah, and this Nyx Assassin not anywhere close at level 3, which is not unusual for a support by any means, but still not where you want to have your Nyx Assassin, especially if you're playing as a support being at about 7 minutes in. Up in top, we have the Fissure.
Careful.
Yep, they're going Shackle in place. The right-click damage should be there, and it will. Lilicious gets the last hit. And so,
that's actually, you know, a bit of a pain right there for Titus. He was so close to level 6, so close to being able to turn around team fights, but now he goes down, and it's going to be, you know, probably another 10-15 seconds. That's going to be another 10-15 seconds of tower damage.
yeah. Well, smoke coming up from the Shadow Shaman as well as the Earthshaker, wasting no time as they go towards mid lane. Currently, the Razor is under his tower, and TJ is playing fairly far back. If he goes up towards this creep wave, he might get caught out. Let's see, where's the block going to be? Fissure throws out. Oh, it's not going to catch him on the right side. They will be able to get the Shackles on him, however. They take a decent amount of damage, but in the end, March is going to be able to get the kill on that Razor. Razor does kill the Shadow Shaman in return after dying, so the experience at least isn't given towards the Razor, so I think that's going to be a fairly favorable trade towards Euphoria, but at the very least, Razor gets himself a little bit of gold, making the best out of a really bad situation.
Yeah, because you did kind of see the Vengeful Spirit attempting to run in right there, but, you know, I get in the mid for a support, always good for Euphoria. It is 3-1 right now, and only 8 minutes in, and we're starting to see that gold lead climb and increase, as we're currently around about 3k in favor of the favorites right now.
Yeah, experience not as vastly in their favor, only about 250, which is pretty much a negligible lead at this point. But yeah. The lanes, there's been a lot of rotations coming out from these Euphoria supports, which I absolutely love. I think I was talking about it in the draft, where I'd like to see this Earthshaker and Shadow Shaman try to get kills, and, well, they'll get a little harassed on TJ, but they've made a good job of using those smokes pretty much on cooldown and have been involved in 3 kills together.
Now, the only, so to say, fly in the pie right there is going to be the Lifestealer, who has been mostly getting free farm, not getting that tower goal, so he's not the highest farm in the game, but he is getting a significant amount of farm, and as the carries in this game go, he does come online a lot faster.
Yeah, especially when you don't opt to go for that Midas on your Lifestealer. He's going to be rushing presumably straight towards the armlet with that Helm of Iron Will.
And for me, that's personally the right choice, as he needs to start joining team fights ASAP. They need to start countering this. We do see the Void. He isn't level 6 yet, but he is going to be able to get out of that. Level 2 time leap. Time walk.
Yeah, personally, I think Drums would also be a solid choice for the Lifestealer, but getting the armlet as fast as possible is going to give him a lot of damage when he's actually able to get the uptime on auto attacks against these enemy heroes. Tinker gets his Boots of Travel at about 9.5 minutes with the Soul Ring, so actually farming very well. Looks like he's been making good use of this double camp that you can stack with the medium as well as large camp over here in order to get that. But other than that, the Tinker just hasn't died and has been involved in 2 kills on the Razor. Yeah, and also got a bit of that First Blood shared to him after the creeps got the First Blood kill.
But even though this Tinker's doing rather well, it's really the Pugna who's been having the best game currently. He's just doing so much damage. The tier 2 tower is already down to 600 health. And there's nothing this Tide can do. He's just sat there taking Nether Blast to the face, and there's literally nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, and now Pugna has a mechanism completed to go along with his Arcane Boots and Basilius. This is pretty much everything your Pugna could want.
As we do see those Vengeful. Yes, Vengeful Spirit did go down right there. Nice Fissure block coming out. And Void, he wants more. He hasn't quite got his level 6, but he's trying to run away from the Lifestealer. Then goes man on man.
Yeah, Lifestealer pops the Rage, so they won't have a lot of damage. A nice double Impale comes up from the Assassin with the Infest to get more damage onto Sella, and they'll be able to pick up 2 kills here. Euphoria overstaying their welcome with 2 of their very important core heroes, and that'll make the kill score 3-4, but I think those last 2 kills are very important. I think their only hero that they really need to start focusing on is this Pugna, who's pushing into the tier 2 tower yet again just to secure a little bit more Pugna Blast damage.
Yep, the Pugna is going to keep pushing up, but that is really crucial. That's jumped Lifestealer's farm all the way from about 3k to 4.5, roughly the same as the Tinker. And killing both the carries right there, you know, absolutely crucial stuff.
Yeah, and that's his completed Armlet at about 11 minutes, and usually you don't see Armlet rushed on Lifestealer, but it's very fast on. Vengeful Spirit up in top gets dropped with the Pugna damage, but the Impale is going to go the way of the Pugna with the Anchor Smash. They should have enough damage. Oh no, he drops a, I don't know, Pugna Ward, and he's trying to run away. He might have enough movement speed. Will they be able to chase him down? Gush to get the extra slow, and they should have enough damage with another Impale. Will they even need it? They will secure the kill with the Tidehunter. Not sure if that Impale was necessary. They still have the Tinker with the Spike Carapace, and Tinker just needs to TP out of there, it seems, as on the backlines we have a Ravage being thrown out to get the kill onto the Shadow Shaman as well.
And who's the Tinker going for? It looks like he's going for the Tidehunter, but he takes a bunch of damage from the Plasma Field. And he's going to get forced back, and Tide's going to get out of there. A very nice escape by him, dodging all that damage, and, you know, even being able to pick up the return kill on the Shadow Shaman. And that's going to be 2 for nothing, and all of a sudden we're sitting 5 and 5.
Yeah, still, as far as farming efficiency is concerned, Euphoria are still coming out on top. With the exception of that Lifestealer, as aforementioned, about 67 and 10 and 62 and 5 on the Tinker compared to your 48 and 8 on the Razor. So they're still staying on top of the net worth, but yeah, this Lifestealer should start getting pretty scary pretty soon. I think they do need to play aggressively with this Armlet, because passively farming, if you are going to do so, is better suited to getting the Midas first.
But things have just got a little bit worse for Cyclone right now, as this Void has his ultimate up. And we all know what Void plus ultimate equals. It equals kills.
Yeah, especially if you're able to catch out 2 to 3 people in the Chronosphere in these little skirmishes, it can be absolutely huge. We have a TP coming in from the Tidehunter with no Ravage available. We'll just farm up this Nether Ward.
Yeah, just get rid of that annoyance right there, and in the meanwhile, the Tinker's picked up a Blink. 30 minutes in, he's got his Boots of Travel. And you know, Boots of Travel is where, and Blink is where Tinker starts to get annoying. Is where Tinker starts to get really powerful. And that's when the split pushing can come out for earnestly.
Yeah, and Tinker's hit his timing spot on. Even with dying once, he's still at the top of the net worth chart, just farming like a madman. They haven't blocked any of his camps or the Ancients, which I really feel is a bit of a mistake when you're playing up against the Tinker. You can just abuse that extra farm so well. Fissure in mid onto the Razor, and he just gets blown up by nukes. Rockets as well as Ether Blast was plenty to get that kill.
Yep, and I'm going to feel a little bit worried for Cyclone right now, as this Death Ball push is going to start coming out, and with this Tinker having here so many items, and the Pugna just being a Pugna, as well as the Shadow Shaman wards, without an amazing Ravage coming out, I'm not quite sure if they can actually do anything about this.
Yeah, and Tidehunter saving up for the Blink Dagger as best as he can, still only about halfway there, so the amazing Ravage potential is not going to be as strong until he gets that. Bottom tier 1 tower is also going to fall in the favor of Euphoria. And for now, I think they can just let the Tinker split push the lanes while the other 4 heroes just barrel down and get some team fights. We have a nice Fissure coming up from the Earthshaker as they attempt for a deny, but the Words are going to be able to get that last hit. And actually a very fast Blink Dagger coming up from the ES. They try to farm with these Serpent Words, but the Marching Machines just make it a little bit too hard for them to do so. Earthshaker does not have that available, but they're going to drop the Ravage onto 2 heroes. The Chronosphere to follow up, however, they're going to get the kill on the Tide. And it looks like the Lifestealer is also going to fall. He pops the Rage to avoid the Pugna Blast damage, but it's not going to be enough. Razor steals a decent amount with that haste rune, 168, but he's not able to get much uptime. The Rockets are doing too much, and it looks like they're going to be completely zoned out.
Yep, not going to really be any tower for them to take, as that tier 1 in the middle has already gone down, but still, we just saw that Nether Ward do so much damage right there. Even with the Ravage getting popped off onto 2, they just couldn't pick up any kills, as that is going to be, you know, a 2 for nothing trade once again.
Yeah, and slowly but surely, Euphoria are just making themselves an absolutely huge lead. The Tinker is almost doubling up the farm of his, of the Razor on the enemy team, and Pugna is still leading the Lifestealer, even though behind in pure CS, the vast amount of towers that they've been able to take with this Pugna pick is allowing Euphoria to fight a lot more efficiently, and also, those towers have allowed Villic to pick himself up a Blink Dagger at about 15 minutes in, which is excellent for an Earthshaker. And yeah. Blink Pugna.
Wow, we've got Blink coming out all over the place. Euphoria, surprisingly, even with the, the better late game, they want to finish this early. And let's face it, why not? If you've got this kind of advantage going in this early, currently a 10k gold advantage, only 15 minutes in, why give the team the chance of bringing it back when you could just simply buy Blink Daggers and push down your enemy team in the face?
I guess so. Usually when you see a Blink Dagger, it's mostly thought of as an initiation item, but for Pugna, I feel this is more a split pushing one, so he's able to get out to safety, and well, your third Blink is going to come online, or rather fourth. I think Faceless Void the only one without a Blink Dagger, but he already has a pseudo Blink built in with the Time Walk. But yeah, this Pugna Blink Dagger is more so he can sit in a lane solo, and then if things get hairy or somebody is coming, he can blink into the trees and TP out, much like a Nature's Prophet, although not that strong.
No, but I would say that right now, Faceless Void has to pick up a Blink Dagger. I don't care if he has a leap. Blink Daggers all around. Just like full Blink Dagger team.
Yeah, Pugna pops himself a smoke, so that 100 gold wasted by Cyclone, they won't be able to catch eyes on this Pugna. So, unfortunate. They have a sentry, but they're not going to drop it. In mid, he drops a Pugna Blast, and they fissure up the Razor. He's just absolutely demolished. Too much damage going his way. You really can't be farming there, especially when you have Blink Daggers galore on Euphoria, as well as the Tinker to TP in. And Dagon completed by the Tinker at 17 minutes in. His farm progression is wonderful.
Yep, he's currently sitting at 9,000 net worth and a gold per minute of 514. He's just wrecking it in this game. And this Tinker's quickly going to become a huge problem that I don't think that right now they can stop unless they can catch him out with a Tide Ravage.
Honestly, I'm not sure that's going to be enough. Yeah, I think Tinker's already a ridiculous problem. Nyx Assassin falls in the top lane, just action all around the map with this Tinker global presence being applied. They still have tier 2 towers to take on the side of Euphoria, but for now they're going to start pushing up in the top lane and let the Tinker, as well as Shadow Shaman, do the pushing down in bottom. So right now, Cyclone are just being split pushed to death. There's not a lot that they can do. They'd like to find a 5-man engagement with the Tidehunter Ravage available, but it doesn't look like Euphoria are going to give that to them.
The problem you have with the amount of Blink Daggers on Euphoria, that unless they're literally on opposite sides of the map, any initiation they try to do on like part of the split push, you're just going to get eventually countered.
Yeah, and depending on the reaction time coming out from Euphoria, they could also just straight up avoid the Tidehunter Ravage. It does have a little bit of a travel distance, so if you're fast on your fingers, 4 of these heroes could like instantly blink out. We have a Fissure possibly being thrown out in mid lane. Let's see, Earthshaker's just sitting on the high ground and waiting for the time to jump. Tinker dead at bottom, getting very aggressive up against the Tidehunter with that newly acquired Dagon level 2. But for now, they're just going to back off and play a little bit defensively, getting the chip damage onto these towers.
Yeah, and this tower is going to go down eventually, just because of this Pugna being annoying and taking down this tower moment by moment. But Tide has picked up his blink. I'd say at this moment it is mostly now or never for Cyclones. If they don't make something happen in this team fight, I'm not quite sure if they can in the entire game.
Yeah, that is our 5th Blink Dagger of the game. I'd expect the Nyx Assassin to want one as well as the Vengeful Spirit, but I don't think they'll have it for quite some time. And yeah, you just see the Pugna is able to blink away, even if he... Yeah, it allows him to play so much more aggressive with these Pugna Blasts towards the tower. He can just drop one, blink away, and then rinse and repeat once it comes off of cooldown again.
And it's only going to take a little bit longer for this Pugna to be able to take down this tier 2 tower. Only 400 health left on that, as both these two teams are trying to kind of defend it. Although at this point, Cyclone's basically given it up, realizing they can't defend against the chip. I'm just simply going to go and get some, I guess, some farm.
Yeah, this is a wonderfully executed push coming out from Euphoria that completely bottled Cyclone up into this little box here. The drawing on the map is a little bit bugged, but for all intents and purposes, they're stuck inside their base. There's just nothing that they can do. Now it looks like they might let up a little bit. They'll have Tinker just split pushing out the lane, so it's not apparently obvious, but they'll go for the Roshan. Even though not the best Roshan lineup, they do have the Serpent Wards available, and they have plenty of damage to take, so as long as they're allowed to sit inside this Roshan pit, and with all of these lanes pushing in because of the Tinker, there's just not a great way for Cyclone to jump into the pit. They have a smoke, and will use that. They're looking to start a fight, but I think Roshan's going to fall before they're going to be able to get there. I don't know. As aforementioned, it's not the fastest, and maybe a huge Tidehunter Ravage could be enough to turn this around.
Yeah, probably going to blink in. Yes,
Blink in with the Life Stealer, they drop the Ravage onto 4, and just so much nuke damage. They get the Earthshaker Pugna as well as the Shadow Shaman instantly. Faceless Void gets Chrono on all 5, and Roshan falls. The Aegis is on the ground, I believe. Who has picked it up? Faceless Void's falling because of Magnus. He gets the Aegis beforehand, however. Now the Tinker has joined the fight. Razor is going to be exploded by the Dagon. Now Nyx Assassin, the only survivor on the side of Cyclone, blink forward by the Tinker. He pops the Ghost Scepter, and I don't know, looks like they're going to be able to make this a full team wipe, and what a hectic fight! My goodness, 5 for 4 plus buyback on Pugna.
Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, the GG well played's come out right there. I was just about to say I would not be surprised if the GG's come out just because that was a perfect initiation and they turned it around.
Dire's done it again.
Yeah, in the end, there just wasn't a lot for Cyclone to do. Yeah, the vast amount of farm that they were able to get with this last pick, Pugna, coming out from Euphoria, turned into a very snowball-y one coming out from them. They were disciplined with their pushing, and just went systematically tower after tower, and as soon as they checked those map objectives off of their list, they were able to snowball that into a win. And I definitely think that is a warranted GG call.
Yeah, that is going to be game 1, but do stay tuned as game 2 is going to be coming out as hopefully Cyclone can bring it back.
Yeah, I definitely think they have the potential as long as they don't get caught into a situation where they have a draft like this one coming out from Euphoria where they kind of win all stages of the game if you don't go aggressively and shut down some of their heroes early on with support rotations. And with an assassin, they weren't able to do so that early. Well, that said, we're here on HeflaTV 1. You can follow us on our English channels at HeflaTV 1 and 2. Currently, German casting is happening at HeflaTV 4, and HeflaTV 5 has Chinese. If you do speak any of those languages, you can check out those streams as well. Also, social media, you can find us on HeflaTV at YouTube, or on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube for the VODs, which will be uploaded in a decent time after the games are done for today. You can find those at youtube.com/Heflamoke. As Banshee said, this is going to be game 1 of the best of 2 series, and we'll have game 2 coming up shortly, so see you soon.